We are on the Sechta Shabbos,
69.
Daf Samech Tes, 69. Elamunviz, who said that even if you knew what you were doing at the time of the Chet, you would still bring a korban. So shkaga b'mai. So how would you define shogeg according to Mundiz? Tigon shogag b'korban. It has nothing to do with the lack of knowledge regarding the Aveira. He didn't know that you brought a korban. He knew that it was an Aveira, so that fulfills Mundiz, but he didn't know that on that Chet you bring a korban. The Rabbanon, but Rabbanon don't shegas korban lo shmashka. Just not knowing that you bring a korban for an aver, that's not enough of a shogeg. According to Chachamim, there has to be lack of knowledge of the aver. So Rabbanon shkoga b'mai. So what's the definition of a true shogeg according to Chachamim? So the machlokes Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan kiven shogeg b'koreis aval b'shehezi b'lav. That means he knew that there was a lav, and he went ahead and did the lav anyways, but he didn't know that there was koreis attached. So that's enough to make you shogeg according to Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish Amar, no. Ad sheyishkov b'lav and koreis. You have to have lack of knowledge of the Aveira, and of course that there's a punishment of koreis attached. Amar Rabbi my time Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, because of the pasuk Amar Kra, Asher lo ta'asena bishgaga ve'asher, means ad sheyishkov b'lav v'koreis sheba. Rabbi Reish Lakish interprets that pasuk that you don't know, not about the Aveira, not about the koreis. So Rabbi Yochanan, I quote Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish ma'avitlei. How does Rabbi Yochanan learn that pasuk? Because it says me'ama aretz asher lo ta'asena bishgaga ve'asher. Prat l'meshumit, somebody who converted to Christianity or to a different religion. There, if you were chayta b'shgaga, and then even though you did tshuva, you have no ability to bring a korban. Meshumit is outside of the category of being able to bring a chatas. Reb Shimon, Asher lo tasena bishgaga v'ashem, teaches me the following din. Hashav mi diyaso, if someone does tshuva, maybe korban al shegagaso. So one of the criteria of bringing a korban chatas is you have to do tshuva. Lo shav mi diyaso. If he didn't do tshuva, in a sense like a meshumit, because he really doesn't believe anymore in Jewish principles, and maybe korban al shegagaso. That's sort of the explanation of this, why meshumit doesn't bring a korban. So we have two approaches in shogeg according to Chacham. Rabbi Yochanan, shogeg b'koreis is enough. According to Reish Lakish, you have to be shogeg b'koreis and the law. Tonight, we're going to learn later on in this perek, avos blachos arbaim chasrachas, that there are 39 av malachos. The havinan ba, and over there we're going to analyze minyan alamali. What did the Mishnah have to give me the number for? It lists all the malachos. The Gemara is not a math book. You don't have to tell me 39. It lists all the 39. I can go ahead and count them up. I know there's 39. The fact that it told me 39, it must teach me something that otherwise I wouldn't know. Over there, Rav Yochanan, to teach me another din. Shemason kulam belam echad chayva kolachas ve'achas. If a person had known about the 39 malachas and forgot all of them, and he didn't know that they were prohibited, and he did it, then he was informed that, you did this, b'shogeg. So there, because there are 39 different malachos, you bring 39 different korbanos. Now, in what situation would you be mechayiv bezodin Shabbos v'shegigos malachos? That means you know that today is Shabbos. It's just that you forgot that these malachos are prohibited. Now, that works out well. Bishmal Rav Yochanan, the Omar Kevin Sheshagag Bekores, Afal Pishahezi Belav. So Rabbi Yochanan said that you bring a korban chatas, even though you know that there's an aveira that you violated, but you just didn't know that there was a korban chatas attached to it. So the mishkachas lakagon diyadalosh l'shabbos belav. You knew that these aveiras were prohibited on Shabbos, but only with malchus. It's a lav. You just didn't know that there was chorus. So fine, you have to bring 39 different chatos for that. El Reish Lakish, the Omar Achi Yishkog Belav, the chorus. You have to have a lack of the idea of the lav and chorus. Now, if you don't know any concept that a malacha is prohibited, because that's what we're saying here, all 39 you didn't know. Well, if there's no prohibition of malachas, what kind of idea of Shabbos do you have? Right? The Yodalei the Shabbos. In what way did this guy have the idea of Shabbos if he didn't know that any of the malachas were prohibited? And for the Gemara, the Yoda b'tchumim. He knew the concept of tchum Shabbos. He didn't know the av malachas. He knew the concept that you can't go more than 2,000 amis on Shabbos. So therefore, he understands there's a concept of Shabbos where something is prohibited. V'libed Rabbi Kiva, according to Rabbi Kiva, who held that going out chutz l'tchum is an isur d'oraisa. So that would bring you a korban, because if it's only an isur d'rabbanan, like the way we hold, tchum is a machlokes, and machlokes tanoi. Rabbi Kiva holds tchum is asur midoraisa. We don't hold that way, but according to Rabbi Kiva, it does. So therefore, it would trigger, in this case specifically, a korban. Now, man taraloha. So who is the following author of the following brayso? The Ton Rabbanon. Shogag bazel vazeh. So if he was a shogeg both in the lav and in the kares, zeu shogeg omer bator. That's a classic shogeg where you bring a korban chatas. Hazy bazel vazeh. I know that I can't do this aved. I'm going to do it anyways. And I know the punishment is kares or skila. Zui mezi omer bator. So that's a classic mezi who would get killed. Shogag b'Shabbos. He doesn't know today is Shabbos, but he knows the malachos. Oh, Shogag malachos. He doesn't know the malachos are prohibited. Be'ezi b'Shabbos. He knows today is Shabbos. That's option number 2. Option number 3. Oh, Sha'omar Yodani Mishlocha Zu Asura. Avaleni Yodeh Shechayv Nolek Korban Alo. I just don't know there's a korban involved. Chayiv Kaman Kemunviz. So this is the classic sheet of Munviz who says that even though I'm shogeg b'korban, I'm considered a shogeg and I bring a korban. Rabbi. Hakol moedim. That means Munviz and Chachonim. That despite their machlokas here by Shabbos regarding whether shogeg by knowing if there's a korban or not is considered a true shogeg, they all agree b'shvuas bitui she'ein chayov aleh korban ad sheyishkog b'lav shebo. There, munviz is not enough. So shvuas bitui means he takes a shvua. I'm not going to eat this loaf of bread today, and then he eats the loaf of bread. So he violated his shvua. So there, you bring a korban chatas olav yoyeh. You bring a sliding scale korban. If you have money, bring an animal. If you have less money, bring a pair of birds. If you have less money, you bring a mincha. That's by Shvuas Bitu. Says Abaya that no matter what Munviz holds by Shabbos, where as long as you didn't know about a korban, you could bring a korban, he would agree that by Shavuos Bitu, you have to have a lack of knowledge regarding the Aveira itself. Hakol Modiman, that means also as Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish said you needed to be shogeg in the lav and the korban. According to Rabbi Yochanan, it was enough. Kevin sheshogeg b'kares regarding Shabbos, that was enough. I didn't have to have a shogeg, but I could be amazed by the understanding the law. But here, when Abaye says Hakol Moedim, it means Rabbi Yochanan is going to agree that even though by Shabbos he said you don't need to know the law, here you need to know the law. So the Gemara says Pshita. I mean, why would I think different? Because maybe Kikom Rabbi Yochanan Heichedika Karetz. When did Rabbi Yochanan say this concept that you could bring a shogeg even with just lack of knowledge of the korban, that because there's karetz? Aval Heichedika Karetz. By Shavuos Bitu, there's no karetz. Maybe low, we would say you need to have an understanding of the law as well. We would say no. I might have thought korban chidushu. This whole concept of Shavuos Bitui is a chidush. Why? In all of the Torah, there is no lav that doesn't have kares where you bring a korban. There's no example of that. All of our korbanos, all of our lavim, where you bring a chatas, has to be kares attached to it. So here by Shavuos Bitu, there's no kares. Yet you bring a korban. So I might have thought, since that's a distinction, and here by Shavuos Bitu, you do bring a korban. So I would have thought maybe kishogeg with korban nami l'chayim. So maybe if he didn't know that there was a requirement to bring a korban regarding Shavuos Bitu, but he knew the law, maybe you would bring a korban. Kamash B'la, that even Rabbi Yochanan would hold that you have to have a lack of yediyah of the law itself. So on this statement of Abaye, that Hakol Moedim, that there's no machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish regarding Shavuos Bitui, the Gemara is going to bring a kasha. It says, Ezeu shigash Shavuos Bitu l'sha'avar. Now, when you make a shvuah, there's two ways to make a shvuah. You can say, I'm not going to eat a loaf of bread today or tomorrow, and then we see whether you eat the bread or not. You could take a shvuah in the past tense. You could say, I take a shvuah that I did not eat a loaf of bread yesterday. And if it turns out that you had eaten a loaf of bread yesterday, you violate the shvuah. Now, Ezeu shigash Shavuos Bitu l'sha'avar. What's an example of a Shavuos Bitu in the past? She'im Omar, the person says, Yodei anisha shvuah zu asura. I know that taking a shvuah and not being correct about it is asura. Aval eni yodei chayv korban alo. But what I have a lack of yediyah in is whether you bring a korban for it. The din is chay. So a lack of yediyah just of the korban brings you a korban. So hamani munvazi. So that's so Rabbi Yochanan, the Abaye will say that's not a problem. This rice is a sheet of munviz, who we said before by Shabbos, just that a shogeg in the korban is enough to bring you a korban. That's the first version of this approach of the Gemara. Lishnach Rina, there's another version that says mani. Ilema munviz. If you're quoting a brisa in the name of munviz, pshita. I mean, that's what's the chiddush. Has to b'chol Torah the lav chidushu. By other averos, like by Shabbos, Omar shigas korban shmashgaga. Their munviz said that even if you just didn't know what the korban was, you'd still bring a korban. Forget about the avera itself. Hacha the chidushu l'kol shekain. Here, where it's a chidush, certainly he would say that lack of knowledge of a korban would bring you a korban. Ela lav rabbanani. Well, if it's rabbanon, and yet there's still an issue regarding bringing a korban even for lack of yediyah, only of the korban, not of the lav. So that goes against what Abaye says at Hakol Moedim, that you have to be a shogeg in the lav itself. To Abaye, to you. So in the Lishnach Rina, we knock Abaye out of the box. He has no no recourse. Period. Now another statement of Abaya. Amar Abaya, Hakol Moedim B'Truma, She'en Chayav L'Chomesh, Ad She'yishgod B'Lav Shabbat. So if a person, a non-Kohen, eats Truma, number one, you chayv Misa B'Dei Shamayim. It's not Misa's Bezdin. It's not Kores. It's Misa B'Dei Shamayim. Number two, if you're a shogeg, you didn't know that this was Truma, or let's say didn't know it was Truma, so then you have the ability to pay back the coin. You have to pay principal. You have to be moist of choimish. You have to add a 20% fine. So you don't pay the fine unless you were a shogeg regarding the fact that there's a lav connected to it. You're not allowed to do it. So again, who's the moedim? Rabbi Yochanan. We would say it's Rabbi Yochanan because he's the one over there by Shabbos that says you didn't need to have a lack of idea regarding the law. But here you need, and so when Abaya says Hakol Moedim, includes Rabbi Yochanan. So when it says Pshita, Ki Amar Rabbi Yochanan Heichad Deka Kares, Heichad Deleka Kares Lo, maybe Rabbi Yochanan by Shabbos where there's Kares, that's where he says it. But where there's no Kares, he wouldn't say it. Or says no, it's still a Chiddush by Rabbi Yochanan. Moutis there, I would have thought, because Misa Bimkom Kares Omedes. Since there's Misa B'Dei Shamayim, maybe it's the same thing like Kares. Just like over the Rabbi Yochanan says, all you have to do is lack of knowledge of the punishment of the Kares. That's enough to bring you a korban. You don't need to know the lack of the law. And maybe v'chishagag b'misa nami l'chayim. So maybe lack of knowledge, the fact that you don't know that there's Misa B'Dei Shamayim by eating truma, you'd bring it nami l'chayim a korban. Kamash Malon, that no. Hakol Moedim, that he needs a lack of knowledge as well of the law itself. Rava Omar, in a chanami, Misa b'mkom kares umedes, and choymesh b'mkom korban koy. You just a lack of knowledge of the korban. It's just like you didn't know that there was kares by Shabbos, yet you brought a korban. Here, the choymesh is like bringing a korban. So the lack of knowledge of the Misa is similar to the lack of knowledge of kares. You bring the choymesh as well. So Rava clearly argues with the Bai on this issue. Period. On Ravuna. Here's a classic sugya. A person is a castaway. He lost track of time. He's in the desert or in the ocean or who knows where. And he lost track of the days of the week. What do you do? So, Mona Shisha Yomim, you count 6 days. Umeshana Yom Echad, and then on the 7th day, you rest. That's your Shabbos. No. The moment you find out, Meshana Yom Echad, you keep 1 day Shabbos, Umoyne Shisha. And then the next 6 days are Chol. Now, what's the basis of this machlokas? The Ma'ikam Marasav Kibriyasa Shaloyla. Ravuna says we follow the way the world was created. The world was created with 6 working days and then Shabbos. So the same thing. You count 6 days, then you have Shabbos. Umar Savrika Adam Arisha. Adam Arisha was created on Friday. So his first day was Shabbos. So Rechia Barav treats him like Adam Arisha, and that the first day, now that you know, it would be Shabbos. Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha. I malach baderech, Beni Yodei Masai Shabbos. Doesn't know when the Shabbos is. It says Mishamer Yom Echad L'Shisha. He keeps 1 day neged Shisha Yomi, and the Gemara understands that my love. This seems to mean Mona Shisha Mishamer Yom Echad, which supports Rav Huna. Gemara says no. It doesn't. Mishamer Yom Echad L'Shisha could mean Mishamer Yom Echad Mona Shisha. So Ihachi Mishamer Yom Echad L'Shisha. Why didn't it say clearly, Mishamer Yom Echad Umona Shisha M'boile? That's number one. If it's true that you should keep 1 and then 6, why didn't he say it clearly like that? That's number one. I'll bring you another brisa. Tanya. Here it says Beferish. Mona Shisha Mishama Yom Echad. To Yufta, Rav Chia Barava, to Yufta. So we certainly knocked that sheet out of the box. Says the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Shin Mem Dalet. Mi Shetor B'Shachach Mata Yom HaShabbos. He's in the desert. He doesn't know what day of Shabbos is. B'Yom Shenizkar B'Dover, Mona Sheshes Yomim, he counts 6 days. Umekadosh es Hashvi B'Kiddush U'Havdalah, U'V'Shabbos Ravuna, U'Keshidas Ravuna. Because of the Tiyufta, because we knocked the other sheet out of the box with a Baraisa. Amar Rava. Now, how does he handle every day? Because now we came out that he's going to keep 6 days. How does he treat those days? He prepares food enough for one day. That day. Bar me'ahu yom. But Shabbos comes, well, he can't cook for himself on that day. So that's what Rava says. Freik the Gemara vahu yom alemus. So I understand. So he's going to die that day. So the Gemara says the Ovid me'asmol shtei parnasos. So the day before his Shabbos, right, he's going to count 6 days. So the day that right before is going to be his Shabbos, he prepares double meals. Freik the Gemara, the Dilma me'asmol Shabbos havi. So maybe yesterday was Shabbos. And, excuse me, no. So this day that he's making the 2 days, he's cooking for 2 days, maybe the next day, the following day would, or on every day, maybe the next day is Shabbos, and he's preparing for Shabbos for Yom Chol. Ella, kol yom v'yom oslo parnas, afilo yom. So that's a problem, because you might be preparing for Yom Chol. So therefore, you cook every day. You cook all 7 days. So if every day prepares food for that day, how is he going to know that how is this day treated like Shabbos? So B'Kiddush of Havdalah, he makes Kiddush and he makes Havdalah. And that's how he makes Shabbos. Amar Rava, let's say he remembered he doesn't know exactly which day he went out, but he has some idea of the count. So he wouldn't travel on Shabbos because he traveled. So that day that he remembered, certainly he can do malacha the whole day. So Pshita, I would say no. Just like on Shabbos, you wouldn't travel. But Mother Shabbos not enough. Person wouldn't travel Erev Shabbos. So, and if we're going to say, at worst, he left on Thursday, he should do malacha for 2 days. Because sometimes a caravan would come through town even on Friday, and people would join a caravan on Friday. So we only matir the day he goes out. We don't matir malacha, and therefore we're usher to malacha every day, except for the amount of food that he has to prepare for himself. And he's not given 2 days of malacha because he might have gone out on Friday. He's only allowed to do. No, he can't. We don't allow him to do. We said if he leave on let's say the middle of the day, obviously he remembered this whole episode. So that day he's allowed to malacha because he wouldn't have left on Shabbos. He must have left, and it could be Friday as well, because there's a caravan that's going through. That's why we only give him 1 day to do malacha. Says the Shulchan Aruch, we're talking about a person who forgot what day the Shabbos is. So Yom Shekov Latzmo Lishbos. So now he established a certain day is going to be Shabbos. Im Yesh Lo B'Malis Parnes. Let's say he happens to have food with him to last for 20 days. He can't do any malacha on any of the days because he's got enough food for every day. Therefore, we don't allow him to do malacha because maybe it's Shabbos. The main low, but we're talking about a case where he doesn't have any food. Also, he does enough malacha to give him enough food for him to survive. Even the day that he set up for his Shabbos. And the only way he treats it as Shabbos is he makes Kiddush Nagdah. Ikar Shabbos. So then our Mishnah said that if a person knows the concept of Shabbos, or he doesn't know the concept of Shabbos. Now, where do we get this? It says, "V'shamru v'nei Yisrael es Shabbos." Right? So pasuk in Kisisa. And then uksiv es Shabbososai tishmaru, which is multiple Shabboses. So what is it? Haketzad v'shamru v'nei Yisrael es Shabbos shmir achas l'Shabbosos harbe. Like we said, in certain situations, even though he did malachos on many different Shabbos, he'd only bring a korban for one, you'd only bring one chatas. So that's a concept of shmir achas l'Shabbosos, even though he violated multiple Shabboses. That's where this concept comes in. That's what the Gemara is asking. This concept that we've discussed in the Mishnah of sometimes you bring one korban to cover many Shabboses, many malachos that you did, it's from this limud. And then when it says v'Shabbososai tishmaru, shmir achas l'chol Shabbos for Shabbos. Sometimes you will bring the number of chatos based on how many Shabbosim you violated. Like we said, if let's say he violated 3 Shabbosim before he found out about it, he would bring 3 different chatos. So Maskir Rav Nachman Yitzchak, Adrabah, Punkt Fakir, Ibcha Mistafra, V'shamru v'nei Yisrael Shabbos shmir achas l'chol Shabbos for Shabbos. Shabbos said Yishmor shmir achas l'Shabbos harbe. It's just a machlokas. What pasuk they learn to teach me this din. There's no real Rashi says, Ben Rav Nachman, Ben Rav Nachman Yitzchak lo pli, El Mishpausa, which might be Yalef Mar Haikro, Yalef Mar. There's no nafkamina and dina. So nafkamina, what pasuk they learn.
Ernie, question.
Yes.
When he eventually finds out when the actual Shabbos is, so then you have a possibility of having 2 Shabbos